generative AI has the ability to provide things to the child on the real time basis. Every child has access to one-on-one tutoring, which is extremely affordable, and they don't have to rely on their neighborhood teacher who may not have the global understanding, global context. And I think that is the power of AI. And I think Sparky is designed like all the Sparky's conversation. The framework is modular.
Hi everyone, welcome to AI Product Builders. Please join me today in welcoming Namita Goel, the co-founder of Sparky, a pioneering voice-first generative AI-powered English learning platform. It's a personal buddy for English learners designed to help users speak English with confidence and fluency they aspire to. Namita and her team at Sparky are on a mission to revolutionize language learning by making it accessible, engaging, and effective for everyone. With her extensive experience and unique insights into the AI space, Namita is here to share us the journey of building and scaling Sparky. Welcome to AI Product Builders, Namita.
Thank you, Sri Lakshmi. Hi, I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure having you. So, Namita, could you give us a brief introduction about yourself, and then we'll later talk about Sparky? What did you do before Sparky?
Sure. So, Sri Lakshmi, I'm an educator at heart. So I started my education journey back in 2009 with Teach for India. So from 2009 to date, I am an educator. So it's been 15 years in education for me. I have taught in schools in India. I've taught in the US as well. And just before Spark Studio, in 2016, when I came back from the US, I came across a B2B edtech startup, which is now a unicorn called Lead School. And I was one of the founding team members of Lead School. So I started off developing curriculum, then leading curriculum, and one of their flagship products is English language and general awareness, which is called ELGA. So I led the team that built that product. So after working there for over 4 years, and really building that 0 to 1 product, grew my team from 2 members to to around 60 members, and we now have around 5,000 partner schools. So that journey really helped me understand the power of building something for scale, and I think some of those learnings I carried forward when I moved when we started Spark Studio back in 2021. We are 4 co-founders, Anushri, Kaustubh, Jyotika, and I. And we got together. I think I knew Anushri very well. Anushri knew Kaustubh knew Jyotika. So I think it just came together. We started off in 2021 in the middle of COVID. And our focus with Spark Studio was to build extracurricular learning for kids, because there was enough that was happening in curriculars, but we realized that there is a gap when it comes to extracurriculars. How do we provide access to quality extracurricular learning to children who do not have access to it? So so that's what led to us starting off Spark Studio.
So I understand the Spark Studio part. So how did the Spark Studio transition to Sparky now, your AI-powered learning buddy?
Sure. So Spark Studio, we started off as a live class player, and we were offering courses in communication, music, and visual arts. And we had students coming to us from, of course, India, Southeast Asia, and Middle East. And what we realized was over a period of 2.5 years, we noticed that communication kept coming up as one of the biggest needs. So we would have users who would already speak English, but how do you communicate? How do you use that language to communicate in different settings? However, the need kept coming in that they would want to even learn English, learn to speak in English, learn to read English, learn to write. So, and we kept adding courses and kept, building for that need. However, what we also realized is that in English language, because it's a skill, and there's a huge variability in terms of skill sets with which the students come in. So grouping started becoming a challenge. And one of the best ways to cater to the child's need was becoming very evident that either we do ability, we create homogeneous groups, or we do one-on-one. Now, one-on-one tutoring becomes extremely expensive for kids because there are so many factors that we need to keep in mind when we are designing the pricing structure. So then we actually took a step back, that if communication is coming up as such a big need, and of course this was the time, this is last year, early
Yeah.
last year, that we started thinking that since AI is something which is coming, generative AI is coming to age, and it's something that we should definitely explore and look into. That can we
Yes.
leverage it to provide quality learning, one-on-one learning, which the kids need at an
Mm-hmm.
affordable pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And we started doing research, and then we realized like there are more, like around 100, there are more than 100 ESL countries which mandate English curriculum. So that's what led to us starting off Sparky, that let's build a product which leverages the
Mm-hmm.
latest technology, and
Mm-hmm.
which we can provide to children, which can be personalized, which adapts to the child's need, which is one on one, basically things that are right for the child
Got it.
when it comes to language learning. And that's what led to the creation of Sparky.
So I'm totally inspired by your journey. You are a mother. So can you share some insights into how being a mother has shaped your approach to building and leading Spark Studio, especially in creating products like Sparky?
I think I'm Sparky in my child's life. Uh,
Uh-huh.
before becoming a mother, I was an educator, and that's something that I was very deeply passionate about, like language learning. Um,
Got it.
so 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 I think a lot of what I knew is what I applied for my child. So I think it was the
Mm-hmm.
other way around for me. That okay, I
Mm-hmm.
knew that the environment in which the child grows up, the peers with who the child grows
Yeah.
up, they play an important role in overall development of a child.
Yes.
So because right now my child is really young, so for me, I was his peer set, I was his environment. So we ensure that we talk, we started talking to him even when we knew that he does not understand anything that we are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But over a period of time, we have realized, like, by using gestures, by using words, he's trying to communicate with us.
Yes.
And I think that is the philosophy of natural language acquisition, to be honest.
Yes.
And that is the philosophy behind Sparky as well. That the
Mm-hmm.
conversations, what happens in schools is schools focus a lot on proficiency. Schools
Yeah.
focus a lot on structure, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
they're assessed on,
Yes.
getting things right. However, when you are acquiring a new skill, it's very important to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
When you are starting anything new, it's about, for example, if when you learn to swim, you don't focus so much on technique from day one. You focus on just getting your hands and legs, and getting your body streamlined, and just stay afloat. That is all that is
Yeah.
needed. And then as you get comfortable with water, as you get comfortable with that, with being staying afloat, is when you keep adding techniques to make it more efficient and better.
Yeah.
Same way is the case with language learning, that you don't focus on structures, but I think there's so much pressure that a lot of times as
Mm.
parents only we put on education systems. If I go back to Sparky, I think Sparky encourages the users, the children who are coming to Sparky, to just speak. I think we are just getting them to. Our first aim is to get them to speak, because I think that's the biggest hurdle that our kids experience right now. That they are uncomfortable speaking because they feel that they're going to make a mistake. They're going to be judged on it. How do we give them a safe space, a judgment free space,
Mm-hmm.
that they're okay making mistakes in. And once that they
Got it.
realize like this is a safe space, then how do we then get them excited about, let's use this language.
So is there a specific age you're targeting?
We are targeting 6 to 15-year-olds. But interestingly, we right now 25% of our users are adults. So we are
Wow.
also noticing that, and their engagement, their retention metrics are way better. Uh,
Yeah.
so we are realizing that Sparky is, because see, we are right now in a early stage of our product, so we don't want to restrict or limit any user. So of course, while we have
Mhm.
designed or intentionally created for 6 to 15-year-olds,
With the generative AI, there's a lot of noise in the market. There are
right?
many AI tools, especially in the language learning, coming up. And what makes Sparky stand out from other language learning tools currently available in the market?
Sure. So I think right now most of the products in the market, they serve casual or beginner learners. Okay. So if I take example of some of the leading products, I don't want to take their name. Some of the leading products, they do very transactional. Like if you are visiting or traveling a certain city, how do you how do you ask for coffee? Like that's very transactional. So
Yeah.
we believe that basic transactional language learning market is now obsolete, or is I think the need is for more proficiency. The need is for deeper learning, more
Mm-hmm.
advanced learning. And I think
Mm-hmm.
learners in ESL countries have fundamentally different needs.
Mm-hmm.
So like an average learner, if you look at average learner in India versus an average learner, say in Germany, English
Yeah.
language learner, I think that average learner is more advanced with prior proficiency
Mm-hmm.
in English language predominantly.
Mm-hmm.
Bulk of English learners, like just to give you an example, bulk of English learners in India, Vietnam, China, decide that their primary motivation in education, like education is their primary motivation. So they're serious learners
Got it.
and they need real conversational practice.
So you mentioned that you're leveraging generative AI. So could you outline the complete AI technology stack that powers Sparky end to end?
Sure, sure. See, our core infrastructure runs on commercial APIs and SDKs with partners like OpenAI, Microsoft, Google. So our
Mm-hmm.
conversations, they are powered by GPT 3.5 Turbo. For speech to text and text to speech, we employ machine learning with Microsoft's base model of for speech recognition and phoneme level
Got it.
analysis. We also have our in-house learning management system that houses our knowledge graph. So every
Got
conversation
it.
graph,
Mm.
which then builds learning units.
Yeah.
So all the content, interactive games, everything is built on it.
Got
And
it.
for our grammar rules and assessment, we use open source language engines that let us tag and filter different English levels.
So how does the app work? So are the who the kids have the conversation with? Are they real persons or is it just an app they're talking to? How are they having these conversations?
So when after registration, what users they do is they click on, there's a huge Sparky icon. They click on Sparky, and they are interacting with Sparky. So what we've done is Sparky is designed to give emotions, to have conversation with the users on different topics. So every conversation that Sparky does is mapped to a learning objective. However,
Got
for
it.
a child, it's very what you say. It's very seamless. The child would
Mm-hmm.
feel that they are the ones who've suggested it, because that's the
Mm-hmm.
kind of flexibility that we've given to Sparky. That to have the ability to have open-ended conversations which are user-led, and
Got
then
it.
there would be a point then where Sparky will bring them to the learning objective that it is aligned to, very very seamlessly. So
Mm-hmm.
they start interacting with Sparky. So Sparky is this really cool, witty, fuzzy, warm, friendly fox that
Got it.
that kids, when they look at Sparky, they just are attracted to Sparky. That, oh, I want to talk to Sparky.
Got it.
So yeah, so I think that's the connection that they're building. Like they're not talking to a tutor. So Sparky's voice is also, it's not mechanical. It sounds very real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that is what they do. So they keep doing the interactions with Sparky, and there's a certain journey, like after, at the end of each interaction, the child is given a choice of what do you want to do next, and they
Got
choose,
it.
and then they go ahead.
What do you think is hooking the users to Sparky?
I think there are the fundamental thesis with which, when we build Sparky, of course, the the fact that we need to focus on natural language acquisition. One was, how do we make Sparky connect with the child, so build connection with the child. So that's the focus of the first few interactions, the journey that we have curated for them. The first few interactions are to get them build a deeper connection with Sparky. So the kind of topics, the kind of questions, or the kind of interaction that they have is to
Mm-hmm.
build that connection. So that is one. The second is Sparky. We have built in emotions in Sparky. So Sparky, there's emotion, there's intonation. So it feels more real. Like, I understand. So when it's excited, the sound changes. When it's sad, the sound changes. The emotions
Got it.
change. There are these gifs and memes that we have added that gets kids excited. So there are different formats that we are using, content formats. So there's also video format. There are also images.
Mm-hmm.
The child experience multimodal formats of conversation,
Got it.
and the fact that they feel very comfortable making mistakes. because that's the thesis with which we work, that if we are able to provide a judgment-free environment, which is where somebody is having conversation with the child based on what they are
Mm-hmm.
interested in, which is a
Mm-hmm.
conversation which is related to them, which is contextual to them, they will really enjoy it. And they would, the
Got it.
more they talk, so our primary focus is to get the child engaged. And when there's the more engagement, the more they talk, every conversation is tracked, is mapped against this knowledge graph, where we continuously track for their how they're performing on grammar, how they're performing on vocabulary, how they're performing on pronunciation, and that report is
Mm-hmm.
then shared with the parents. But for kids, it's absolutely a fun and engaging process.
So you also mentioned some metrics, right? You would check their vocabulary, grammar. What other kinds of metrics are you tracking?
Sure. So, see, the primary format of learning is through conversations, and which are logged against student profiles, and we enrich them with data like age, geography, current level of
Yeah.
language proficiency, and these
Mm-hmm.
open conversations are a great source of data for us to analyze. So, apart from what we talked about, like progress and proficiency across grammar, vocabulary, comprehension, pronunciation,
Mm-hmm.
we also check for mother tongue influence.
Got
We
it.
also check for students' engagement and emotion. So we do emotion tracking as well. Efficacy on
Mm-hmm.
achieving learning objectives. Fear is a hurdle. Confidence should come before language accuracy. And we are like and we are quite excited that we are able to prove this through our highly engaged users. And
Mm-hmm.
the data that is generated, we continuously keep we are continuously refining the product and pedagogy, and identifying the learning strategies that are suitable for this diverse demographic. So these are the data sets that we look at, and we keep on improving. And I think we are still very early in our product, but
Got it.
these are some of the data points that we look at, because engagement is something that we are primarily focused on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the emotions play a very important role for us. Like, are the
Mm.
users excited? How are the users behaving? What is the basic user emotion? And what we
Mm.
noticed in our recent analysis was, like, most of the times users are either happy or excited. So for us,
Yeah.
that's a good signal.
So considering your young user base and AI, how do you
Yeah,
ensure the interaction with Sparky are safe and secure? When it comes to young user base, right, you have to set up some
right.
guardrails. And how do you ensure that everything happens smoothly and securely?
Got it. Understood. So I think, Sri Lakshmi, the conversational content, like I mentioned, like, is custom generated for each user. So, and
Mm-hmm.
this conversation happens within the framework which is designed on our LMS. So our you can
Mm-hmm.
say the guardrails are built on our LMS.
Mm-hmm.
That enables us, once we define a learning objective.
Yeah.
So the more clear instruction that we give to Sparky, what we've noticed is, like, a negative prompt is not necessarily something that AI typically
Mm-hmm.
listens to. So what we constantly focus on is, what is it that Sparky, what is the desired behavior from Sparky,
Got
and
it.
within the realm of a learning objective. So
Mm-hmm.
that helps us manage the flow of the conversation. So there are
Mm-hmm.
certain guardrails that we have built through our LMS. That is one. The second is, we have also employed human review. So everything that we do, all the transcripts are continuously reviewed, or by humans, just to see that how is Sparky behaving. Because, see, there is no way for us to ensure that the conversation, like, that what the user is going to ask Sparky. The only thing we
Yeah.
can control is how Sparky responds to it.
Yes.
um, so kids are curious. Kids may ask questions, but when they ask questions, it's very important that how Sparky is responding to them. Uh, is Sparky able to divert? Like, when should Sparky divert?
Got it.
But yeah, these are the two things that we have done from our side, are the kind of instructions we give, and continuous review,
Yes.
so that we can keep improving.
How do you see AI and technology evolving in the field of education, and what role you think Sparky will play in the future landscape?
I think technology plays the role of providing access to kids. So I think that's what even AI and technology, that's the role that they will
Mm-hmm.
continue to play. That
Mm-hmm.
how they can provide access to more and more kids. I think
Mm-hmm.
with AI, one additional layer that's getting added is affordability.
Yes.
Affordability of products which were predominantly designed for slightly higher income. So, for example, personalized adaptive learning
Mm-hmm.
was something which was always, if I look at the products that are out there in the market, are extremely expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't provide access to every child. And I think that's the power of AI, that
Mhm.
it can provide conversations which are relevant to you,
Yes.
and something which kids who go to low income schools or affordable private schools do not have access to. I think that's the
Mhm.
accessibility that it will give, which is affordable. The one-on-one tutoring, personalized adaptive learning, which is right for the child. I think that's the power it has.
Yeah.
Generative AI has the ability to provide things to the child on the real time basis, because see, the world
Yes.
that exists today doesn't exist in the future.
Yes.
So it's very important to build. We keep talking about these 21st century skills. I think AI has the capability to actually help them realize the critical thinking, the communication, the collaboration. All of this can be done through technology, and AI will play a big role. So just like digital classrooms was like only something which
Yes.
privileged schools had. Now, if you go, and I'm talking predominantly about India, if you go
Mhm.
to even a low income school, they will have at least one audiovisual room. Now that's
Yes.
become a norm, and I think this is what even AI and technology together can create. Like, every child has access to one-on-one tutoring, which is extremely affordable, and they don't have to
Mhm.
rely on their neighborhood teacher who may not have the knowledge and may not have the global understanding, global context. And I think
Mhm.
that is the power of AI. And I think Sparky is designed, like all the Sparky's conversation, the framework is modular. We use various formats to ensure multimodal
Yeah.
learning, and I think those are the interventions that cater to needs of any user. So, and I think Sparky plays a really important role. So while English is a wedge that we have taken right now, but we do expect, like, Sparky scope is not just limited to English.
Yeah. I think I can't agree more with your views on AI and future of education. Coming to an end, Spark Studio is part of Y Combinator. Uh, Being a YC founder, like how has the experience and network helped Spark Studio in building and scaling its product? And what kind of what advice you give to young AI entrepreneurs want to get accepted to YC?
So I think for us, like, we were part of the summer 21 batch of YC, and we were the first batch that was remote
Mm-hmm.
for YC. So I think Y Combinator as a community was extremely beneficial for us with respect to our mentors. So we were very
Mm-hmm.
fortunate to have Michael Siebel as our mentor, and the
Mm-hmm.
fact is we can still go to them is something which is really important for us as startup founders, and the fact that we've recently pivoted. So for us, I think that having that support, having that mentorship is really, really important. Second is access to this amazing founder community, where they're very open to sharing best practices. They're very open to helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the Y
Yeah.
Combinator alumni network is really, really strong. So I think
Yes.
staying connected with that community really helps us also understand what's happening around in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you're building technology which people really need, have desire for, and you have a strong case for it, I think Y Combinator is a great community for you to go, be a part of, learn from them. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think go in with an expectation that you will come out learning a lot, and you'll be a different company by the end of it.
That's it for today. Thank you, Namita, for being part of this podcast. But yes, I do see a lot of potential in AI and education in future as well. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful insights.
Thank you for thank you for having me, Sri Lakshmi.